So Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life did a very interesting study on the nuns. So who are the nuns? They're not folks that wear the black stuff and get on a bus and push progressive ideas, although the nuns on a bus are awesome. No, they're the opposite in a sense, because they are, although politically they agree, they are the people who check none when it comes to religion. So they might not have any religion at all. They might be atheists, they might be agnostic, they might be non-believers, but they're also the category of people who say, I am religious or I am spiritual, but I don't have a particular religion. Well, it turns out that category made all the difference in the world in 2012. This is one of the most important voting blocs in the country, and it gets almost no press in Washington. So let's take a look at the numbers. In Ohio, the president actually lost the Protestant vote by 3 points. He lost Catholics by 11 points in Ohio. That's interesting because he barely won them nationwide, but he lost them in Ohio. So he would have lost Ohio if it were not for this category called the nuns, which he won by 47 points. And they were 12% of the electorate in Ohio, and they swung the election in his favor. Same thing in Virginia, when you look at the numbers there. President Obama lost Protestants by 9 points, Catholics by 10 points, but he won the nuns with 76% of their vote. And they were 10% of the electorate. Swing Virginia in President Obama's camp. And then in Florida, he lost by 16 points among Protestants, and a lot of that is because of the evangelical vote. And then Catholics, he lost by 5 points. But the nuns, he got 72% of their vote, and they were 15% of the electorate in Florida. They swing the election in his favor. Obviously, those are huge swing states that make all the difference and put President Obama in the White House. Now, when you look at it, the national numbers, you can see the stark differences there as well. Nationally, the president lost Protestants by 15 points. He actually won Catholics by about 2 points, and then he got 70% of the vote in the nuns category. So that winds up giving the election to President Obama. Now, isn't it amazing that these people who do not have a religion are a big chunk of the country? They're actually about 20% of the country. That's enormous, right? That's larger than blacks, that's larger than Latinos. Everybody's talking about Latinos now swinging the election in favor of President Obama. So did this category. Yet in Washington, you never hear a word about it. And in fact, quite the opposite. Whenever you turn on the Sunday talk shows, etc., they will have wall-to-wall, like, priests. I remember once they did this special on religion on Meet the Press, and they didn't have one non-believer at the table. All the religious people were sitting around going, oh, yeah, oh, this, that, we should go in this direction, absolutely. And they would have one liberal religious person saying, oh, by the way, Jesus was actually for the poor. They're like, look, we got diversity of opinion. We got that one guy, we got 4 other religious guys who say that we should favor the rich. No, but how about the non-believers? How about this category of people who don't have a religion that's 20%, a fifth of the country, and that decided this election? Yet you don't hear a peep out of Washington, whether it's the politicians or the press on this. But it made all the difference in 2012, and it should be something that politicians pay a lot of attention to. And by the way, more important than that, it should be an organized voting bloc. You should stand up for yourselves. Non-religious people in this country get run over by the religious evangelicals, etc., over and over and over again. Well, if you got 20% of the country, it's time that you stood up together and said, not on our watch.